I'm in the industrial technology classroom with Mr. Doug Lighting, the instructor and head of this industrial technology class. Mr. Lighting, a little bit of background about your department and the classes that you teach.
Okay, the classes that we offer here, we have an intro to industrial technology. They call it Tech 101. It's a good intro course for freshmen, sophomores who want to kind of get a gist of what's going on down here. We try to cover a little bit of all areas in this class so they kind of know what's going to appeal to them a little later on in high school. After that, we go on to, we have a basic CAD. It's called DMAC CAD 119. It's a dual credit course that we offer. From that class, it goes on to Advanced CAD, which is DMAC CAD 125. We also offer Chief Architect, which is a DMAC course. We have a new course this year that we added called Materials Processing, which is a 5-hour DMAC course. And we also offer cabinetry down here at the school.
And in addition to all the coursework, Mr. Light, you also have been entering some contests with projects that your students have been doing with phenomenal success. Maybe you don't have time for everything, but some of the highlights of the contest that you were in this last weekend.
Well, we went down to the state competition down at Southeast Polk High School. Students did very well from Carroll High. We entered 51 projects in the contest and brought home 40 of the 51 with trophies or medals signifying they were top 3 places in the state of Iowa. You know, some of the instructors down there and some of the people who were the head of it talked about, you know, they said, you really do a phenomenal job with your students. And I said, no, I work with my students. My students are the ones who deserve the credit. You know, my hat's off to them. I can't praise them enough for the work that they've done this year.
Did any school in the state of Iowa overall do better than you would?
Well, I don't have a number count on medals, and I think my students will probably attest to this. I don't think anyone did any better percentage-wise than Carroll High did. You know, it's one of those things that I think when the Carroll community bus pulls up down there, I think some of the schools kind of frown a little bit. We've done extremely well the past 3 years we've gone down there, and this contest that we just went to was probably by far the best that I've ever had.
You have some terrific students in your department. We're visiting a little bit about some of your seniors and that are going to go on after having completed the courses in your department. Many of them are going into the engineer colleges of some of the major universities.
Yes, I do. I've got a class that I just got done with. There were 7 students in the class. It was a new class that we offered Advanced Materials Processing, and 5 of them were seniors, and all 5 of those are going to Iowa State. Majority-wise are going into construction and electrical engineering. So like I say, I kind of hope to say that I had a little influence on what they were doing by them going off to college and choosing this as a career.
Very exciting times in the industrial technology department here at Carroll High. You can talk to a couple of students and get their feelings and their experiences that they've had, and maybe even talk a little bit about a couple of projects that they took to contest last week. J.T. Miller has joined me on the program. J.D., very impressive chest here. Tell me a little bit about the background, how you did the design, how you actually constructed the board, and then finally the results of your exhibit at the contest last weekend.
All right, the drawing, each student in the class drew each piece. I was in charge of drawing all the pawns, which are these little ones, and we draw them on a computer-aided drafting program, which what draws them up, and we converted them over into CNC commands, which we plug into the computer, and that's how we get the mill, which is a robot, to mill these out and to get the pieces. And then MrLeiting built the chessboard out of the many different woods, and then Ben Lighting finished it off for us to make it look very nice. And we had first place out of all the tabletop projects there.
This is your 3rd year in the program and in the department. Do you look forward to a career in this kind of work as a result of your involvement in this department?
Yeah, I do, because it's just really fun. I like building things and being a part of projects that you get to see as the process go. You get to see the process go and see a final result.
And what do you plan to do after graduation?
I plan to go to Iowa State in the construction engineering college.
Provide an excellent background. I'm now visiting with Alexis Holliday, who is also a student in the Industrial Technology department. A little bit of background of your involvement in the classes that you've taken in this department. Alexis.
The classes I've taken in this department, I started with Industrial Tech, which we just did a lot of woodworking in there, and then from there I took Mechanical CAD and Advanced CAD, and that's just a lot of like working with the pencil drawings, and also on the computer, drawing up just different objects on the computer as well.
And would you mind sharing a little bit about the project that you did and took to Southeast Polk last weekend for the Industrial Technology contest that you were involved in?
Well, this project just started out as we had to draw an object for Advanced CAD, and as I started drawing this object, I kind of learned that it was difficult and there were a lot of like hidden lines that you wouldn't see just looking at the object, and I realized that it was a lot more complicated than that, and it helped me to kind of broaden my mind as to kind of look at it. And so I ended up taking this and I drew different views of the object and what I thought would be in each view. And so it just kind of came about as this.
And this was a first place winner. And so it's exciting today because we've got just phenomenal success in the class, which is a real tribute to your instructor and to the department and to the students. What do you plan to do after graduation?
Well, I haven't decided which field I want to go into yet, but I know I like working with the hands-on construction and also the computer, so I'm really looking forward to an area in there.
First class projects in a first class department, first class students, and for what's happening in the classroom, I'm Dennis Molitor.